Okay, welcome everybody to the Thursday night chart chat where we're going to be going through some of the exciting charts. We're going to be doing some of the technical analysis of some of the Wall Street Reporter client companies. So the Wall Street Reporter universe of super stocks. And good news, the summer stock rally has begun. Officially, it's a stealth rally, and while everybody's away, this is what always happens. This is when you get all the action. I mean, it's I'm noticing, like, our live streams, everything like is off by a week or so, 2 weeks. Everybody's on vacation, but meanwhile, we're getting some massive action in some of these stocks, including RHT, Relic Health, RQHTF over the counter. Stock we've been talking about for a while. Originally, we introduced this here. I think it was in February. I think it was around 75 cents maybe. So it had a nice little pop, and then, right, in February, as we get to the, Valentine's Day, everything kind of started collapsing in the microcap world. The stock actually has held on pretty well, all else being, equal, off 50%, which is nothing. And it's built a nice base. We've been talking about this base for a while. And look what's happened. This thing just broke out just the other day. And again, if you were a member of our Telegram channel, which is subscribed, the link is down below. You can subscribe to that and you get it for free. Also, Discord, the link is in the video description below. I think we announced it like the day before. So yeah, you could have had a nice little profit there. I mean, not that I knew anything. It was just the way that the chart looked. I mean, the chart was looking amazing last week. And sure enough, the company comes out with good news on, Wednesday? Was it Wednesday? Wednesday. And the thing explodes. And of course, we had Lisa, the CEO, Lisa Crossley, Dr. Lisa Crossley, on our live stream. Check out this video because she pretty much explains, hey, here is the path, for this to be, a $1 billion company. But what does it mean? Forget about $1 billion. What does it mean for the stock? Realistically, I think we could see a minimum of $2.50 by October sometime, $5 towards the end of the year by probably December. So basically, it's a 10x from where it was in a couple of days ago. But of course, now in a way, it's been de-risked because now the thing is it's in momentum mode. She kind of talks about, look, here's I think the key takeaway. And again, I'm really here to talk about the charts, but I'll mention some of the fundamentals because they are important, I think. Bottom line is they have a pipeline right now. They have 200,000 patients in the that are going to be on board. The contracts are done. These people just need to be on, I don't know, 18 months or so. Kind of rolls slow. It kind of goes the way all these programs work. But the bottom line is, when all these 100,000 people are going to be onboarded, the company is going to have, 200,000 people, about 100 million plus revenues. Insane. At that number, this thing is worth $5 billion minimum. Why? Because the market values these health tech companies at 40-50x, but probably they could be making, I don't know, net $25 million. So what is that worth? Yeah, it's worth a lot. I mean, it's worth a lot of money. They might even get bought out at some point. But yeah, so this thing is really gonna, I believe, gonna take off. But let's forget about the fundamentals. Who cares about fundamentals? Let's look at the charts. I drew some trend lines a couple days ago. They're still up here. And as you can see, you had the support line. It bounced off that support. You had like the main resistance was really that line that you see in red, which was at 47 cents, 48 cents, basically, maybe even 50 cents. That was really your main resistance and that stretched from almost 2 years. It goes from all the way basically from here. So the stock broke out of that, and today it broke out of another key level. It came, which was this kind of like 70-cent range, which is another key resistance level. So the stock is really in bull mode. Sylvain, great question. Will these gaps be filled? You know, a lot of times gaps get filled. This one might get, I don't think this is going to be filled. I think this one might get filled. I think, look, I mean, the stock actually closed really, at the highs of the day. And let me see, let me go to the 1-hour chart. I mean, this is a bullish setup for tomorrow. Look at this. I mean, the stock just ran right out of the gate, popped, broke above this key resistance, came down, and you had some profit taking. I think you get a lot of profit because look, basically this thing is almost doubled in a day. What is it, up 50, 60, 70, 70% or something. I mean, the stock was 40 2 days ago, and today it was as high as 70 something cents, right? 75 cents plus. That's a big move. So you got to look, a lot of people in the stock who are they're degenerate day traders. They need that quick action. Not that this is a day trading stock. It could become one, but there's a lot of people who are just they got to get that quick flip. But here's the key point. What you saw happening towards the end of the day, very nice recovery. And the stock was ready. I mean, if we had maybe another, I think we would have closed probably in this like 72-cent range, 73-cent range. So it looks like a very bullish setup. I wouldn't be surprised though if we had maybe a pop and then it came down to kind of this. It could close this gap, 64 cents. It could. So I don't know I really don't. Let me go back to here one day. Yeah, I don't know if it will, but the upside in the stock again is, I think, because you have such a nice long base. Look at this beautiful base. So you have this leverage where it could build easily. I believe easily 250. I think we got an easy path to $5 for. I think we have a nice clear path to $5 by December. And again, a lot of the big winners we've had in the last 12, 18 months, all of them began right in the dead of summer. CloudMD, we introduced that almost a year ago, July 31st. Logiq, we introduced in mid-July at $3 and change, ran to $14. That was the first run from 3 and change to 14. We had Fans Unite that we introduced, I think it was 30 cents. It ran to 250. Was it 250, right? That was introduced in last August. And then we had Peak FinTech that we introduced, I think, like September 1st or late August at 40 cents, I think it was. 35 cents. So the summer, this is like dead period when everybody's away. Everybody's on vacation. This is when you get the big opportunities. So I hope all of you who are watching right now or watching this video the next few weeks, I hope you'll all be rewarded for your sticking to it. I am definitely not taking a vacation this summer because I think there's going to be some massive opportunities, and I'm getting ready actually to introduce a couple of interesting stocks in the next probably in August. We have a couple things in the pipeline which I think could be massive, really could be huge winners, and we're going to introduce those probably Once some momentum starts kicking in. Yeah, so RHT, amazing setup. We might see a bit of a pullback, or it could pop, and then, you might build. What might happen also is it just might pop the next day, like 80 cents or something, and then it's gonna pull back and it's gonna build a base on this like 72-cent support line. This is going to become the support line. What was the resistance is going to become support. So I would not be surprised if it builds a base kind of in the 70 to 80-cent range, maybe even 90-cent range for maybe a month. You might even see a month kind of in this, because it's got to consolidate. This is a big move. It has to consolidate this. I think it will be healthy. I'm not saying it will. I think it will be healthy. I would love to see the stock consolidate between 70 and 90 cents for a month. Let it build another base, and from there it can go to $1.50 and then $2.50. That's kind of my target for this. I want to mention another interesting stock we had today, which I think this is going to be one. This is a sleeper, and then these trend lines are from the other chart, so I'm going to have to clear these. And that is HAPB, HAPB, HAPBF. I think this is a real sleeper. It reminds me of like fans last year. So now we introduced this 80 cents. No, I think it might have been six. Technically, it was somewhere like 75, right in this kind of basically announcement. So I don't even want to say, let's just say 80 cents for argument's sake, right? 75, really 75 cents, okay? So we introduced the company at 75 cents, in, 2 days, 3 days. So the stock almost doubles basically in a couple of days. And of course, this is already February, crazy. Then you have the everything kind of collapses towards the end of the month. And the company was kind of going through a transition because their founder really, because he didn't want to be. I think my understanding is he really doesn't want to do like a day-to-day. He's like a founder. He has another business, and he's more of like how should I say? He's more of like the front guy kind of. Whereas what this business really needs, because the day you really need somebody who's like very, very dialed in and knows how to go marketing stuff, because that's that business is like, it's a phenomenal business, but it's A/B splits, stats, I think it's just not that's not everybody's personality. It's like, hey, some people are good at different things. So they brought in this guy Yona, and he's got a phenomenal. Here, let me take this off. He has a phenomenal background. Again, look it up online. Watch the interview. He's got a phenomenal background in in direct marketing, tech business, launching. This guy's really a superstar. I think he is the right guy to be the CEO right now. He's the guy that the company really needs right now. And today is, again, this company also very clear path to $1 billion valuation. $1 billion valuation. What will that mean for HAPB? Basically a 50x, because right now this thing is trading at like a 20 million valuation. So $1 billion is 50 times that. $20. And I've been saying $20. That was my target when right after I announced it. I said, hey, this thing's got potential to be a $20 stock. Why? Again, I want to talk about the chart, but I will mention the fundamentals. Let's just call it feelings, states, moods on demand. And so that's the core platform of what they do. It works. What's going to be the real inflection point, I believe, is when factors. Because right now they have this device. It's a little bit awkward. It's a little bit awkward. But once they do it in more consumer-friendly type things, you're going to see this thing just once they license the technology, you got to watch the video. Watch the video with HAPB, and he explains it. But what's the path to $1 billion? They got to get 50,000 subscribers, users on their platform. It's a SaaS model, so recurring revenue every month. So 50,000 would get you to, what is it, 50,000, so it's $1 million and change a month revenues, almost all pure profit, by the way, plus product sales is in there, you know. So roughly, I think they'll be generating roughly $2 million a month, so 25 million a year. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but again, the market pays massive multiples for that end of the space, especially for like a novel technology. So I believe this could be a 40x, maybe a 20x. Maybe it'll only be valued 500 million at that point. But I mean, this thing has. So I think it's a great asymmetric. This is a perfect next super stock because you have this asymmetric setup. You know, you're risking 40 cents. Even if you got in, you know, back in February, you were risking, you know, 70 cents, and your upside is $20. So 20 to 1, or in this case, 50 to 1. At this point, 50 reward. Worst case, this goes to 0. In a good case, it could be a 50 bagger, or it might even be, let's say, 20 bagger. Let's say it only goes to, you know, $5, $10. You know, not bad, right? So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for those like asymmetric type setups. You know, I don't want stocks that are just going to double. I mean, that's boring. Stocks that double, that's a way to lose money. In this game of penny stocks, microcaps, you need things which have that massive upside potential, because that's going to make up for all the losers. I mean, 10 stocks, for sure, 3 of them are going to go to 0. You know, 3 of them might do okay, 4 will be doubles, triples, and hopefully 1 or 2 of them will Mars. In this case, this is Mars, and that basically pays for everything, and that delivers you your, you know, essentially a double for the whole portfolio. Unless you're really crazy and you go all in on this stock, and then you try to do that parlay, which we talked about a few months back. We haven't talked about it lately because anybody who's done that strategy the last few months would have gotten killed. I know Calvin did that strategy. I don't know who he's doing that, but that kid turned what, $2,000 into $1 million in 6 months. So again, but he went all in and then parlayed that a couple times, back-to-back winner. So I think there's a good chance that can happen with this stock. Again, not a recommendation. I'm not giving you advice. These are very high risk. As I said, anything. Okay, so I mentioned Happy. I mentioned RHT. Let me revisit Logiq again. That really, the other day. And again, you see this nice double bottom between July of last year and this year. And you see now the stock broke out of the 50-day moving average. Let me see what happened. Yeah, so yesterday it closed near the high, and today it kind of closed near the low, which I'm not worried about. We might see a little decline, and then it's going to be off to the races. Again, you can see what's happening here. This thing is getting ready to pop. It's going to build. I think this thing can, you know, be a $5 stock very quickly. Ultimately, I'm looking for this to be how much? No, let me see. Let me go back to Logiq. $20 plus minimum of $20 in the stock. Can it get there? I believe it can. Look at this. Yep. Long base. So yeah, it could be $20 easily. I mean, it ran to $14 last year from $3.50. I think it's going to do it at least that much. I think at least the $14. And see what happens. So $14 really is a key level of resistance. So if it breaks out, maybe even 13, yeah. So if it breaks out about $13, $14, it's going to be a $30 stock maybe. So yeah, so Logiq looking amazing. They're doing what, 38. Market cap is only about, I don't know, 70. So it's trading at 2 times revenue. It was as low as 1 times revenue. They're in the e-commerce enablement space, ad tech, marketing technologies. So those companies usually trade at 10 times revenue. It should be minimum of 400 million valuation. So that's why I'm saying it could be at least a 5x. So that would give it an. Stocks always get way ahead of themselves, or they get way down. Nothing ever trades at fair value for too long. So right now things have gotten way big opportunities. That is Logiq, right? Let me just catch up to a couple of comments here. Yeah. Now CBDT was a 50 bagger. Can Logiq be a 50 bagger? I don't know about a 50 bagger. I think it's going to be a $20 stock minimum. Okay, 14 to 20. I'm just saying 14 to 20, possibly 30. Sweet spot. That's where I think it's going to go. So yeah, it could be from here, 4x. Possibly things get really crazy. It could get into that $30 range. And again, the markets always get way ahead of themselves. I mean, at some point, things just go nuts. Like CBDT just went completely nuts. Once it broke out of $1 to 250, like in a day, that was crazy. You know what? I was saying, look, I was trying to get the CEO onto our live stream and say, hey man, you gotta show. We gotta maintain this level here. If if you don't show up, the stock is going to come down. And I didn't hear from the guy, and this thing collapsed. And it's very hard. It's very difficult. I think realistically, if Steve would have done some appearances during that period of that $2 range, the stock would have settled in that $1.50 range. He could have done a fine. But again, listen. Who knows? Everybody. I'm not in his shoes. There's a lot of people have different things going on. There's all sorts of reasons, but I always believe it's very important for a CEO to be consistently in front of investors. Consistently, transparency, always in front of investors, and news flow, very important. I just had a very big argument with a company today, which they signed up with us saying they would have news flow, and they've had nothing. And I was very clear with these people. Look, the way our program works is we're looking for stocks that are at that inflection point right now. So the day they show up on our program, that means the rocket is taking off. That means the news flow is going to start happening. If they didn't have a lot, it's going to start happening now. Whatever. And usually we've had that happen. If you've noticed, all the big winners we've had, they've all had that consistent news flow. The only losers we've had have been companies that kind of showed up and kind of like, went MIA, went dark. I don't want to mention any names, but there's been a few of them in the last couple of months that just kind of, they show up and then you don't see any news. And again, I mentioned this before, our new policy is going to be companies that don't have that news flow of 3-4 releases a month especially the first 6-8 weeks, will get fired, and we're going to keep the money, and that is it. So I want this to be on the record. This is going to be our official policy, so that because it's a waste of everybody's time if a company shows up and then they don't have the news flow. It's a complete waste of time, and I think it's a that's not what this is about. So we've had that again. The companies we've had in the last, 18 months, we've had 20 companies maybe. The only times we've had dogs have been those companies that, did not have those, 3 releases a month in the first month, 4 releases a month. So, so the new stock we're going to introduce in probably a couple of weeks. I think we're going to have a few new stocks, but I think those guys are pretty serious. I know they've had already decent flow, so I think things are going to be good. But that is the policy. Okay. Peak. By the way, I should mention that policy is only obviously company has to do one of these Canadian financing deals. Then obviously, they're basically, they're like gagged. They can't do any PR. They can't do anything until the deal closes. And that's, by the way, when you see these things get shorted. We saw that happen with Peak. We saw that happen with Logiq. Let me go into PKK because that is one of our next super stocks here. They did the reverse split. I'm not a fan of reverse splits, but I mean, it indicates usually, I mean, if they're doing the reverse split now, I would have to assume that a NASDAQ listing is around the corner. They may have gotten a conditional approval. They haven't said anything. I mean, this is a funny company. Sometimes, like, they don't, they're not, in a weird way, they're like, we're really not promotional. They're not like, when they may have a conditional approval from NASDAQ, and that's what they did the reverse. Now, you might see this thing go to NASDAQ in a week. I don't know. Again, I don't know anything. They're not telling me anything about this. But, okay, so it's a stock we introduced last year, right at the end of summer. So it was right in this kind of 30-something, before the split, it would have been like 30-something cents. And again, the stock really did nothing for almost 2 months. We have to get some things need to get ironed out, Anyway, it goes to show you not everything starts out with a bang. Sometimes these things are, takes them a while to build up. So basically it went from, was it 30 cents, 35 cents to 350 or, 3 and change, 325, I think. Now it's 6 and change with the split. Yeah, so I think I'd like to see what happens now, but I think if it breaks out of this range, it could go to, based on this, 12 bucks. I mean, I think it could be an easy double. I think the stock could be an easy double. Let's see what happens if it goes to NASDAQ in the next week. I'm actually, that's what my bet is, that they're probably going to do a NASDAQ announcement. And I'd like to see if it breaks out of the $6 range. And then it could pop. Okay, let's go to, excuse me, FCO. I haven't talked about this in a while because their chart has been, it's not a lot of information yet. It's a fresh chart. It's only like 6 months old, so not a lot of data. We're starting to see some things now. I don't know, it's been acting really interesting. We had the crazy moves. I think this thing could be ready to pop. I mean, it's very hard to tell from the chart, but I would keep a watch on this chart. I mean, look, they had some crazy drill results. They found this massive gold find. I mean, they're looking at, I mean, essentially it's supposed to be a silver exploration deal, but they have this massive gold thing they got. That's the great thing with these, that is the great thing with these mining deals, exploration deals. It's like, a lottery ticket. I mean, it's basically what it is. I mean, you just put them away and, that would be also bullish. NASDAQ listing. Yeah. So yeah, it could be, I think it could be sooner, because otherwise, why would they soon? Right? I mean, usually they do it at the last minute. So, I'm actually going to talk about these stocks right now. So fans, I haven't talked about it because that thing got whacked after they did the financing. It's going to take a while for it to recover. It's got to build a base. So it might happen here. It might have to go back. It might have to go back to 62 cents. But based on where it is, I think it's going to have to go back to like 62 cents, 60 cents, and then it's going to start running again. And then that's it. The next time this thing hits 60 cents, they're going to go to, 250, and that's it. Relay, again, I don't know. They kind of went dark for a while, right? We introduced this right in early February when things were going crazy. Had a little pop, and then, this drop off here. It looks like it's building a base. They have this, I think the fundamental story is they're kind of pivoting a little bit. I don't know if they're pivoting, but I think they got a lot of things going on, which we're going to be hearing about. So I don't know, but it looks like I think the stock has found a base. There's no momentum in the stock. It's not a momentum play. It's just, this is at this, essentially at this point, it's like a waiting game to see if it builds a base and it pops from there. And I don't know. I have no idea at this point. So what else? Let me mention, even though they're no longer a client, I will still mention them because this thing looks like it might be breaking out here. These guys might come back in October. I don't know, but basically they're not in the program right now, so I have no real. I don't know what they're doing right now, but yeah, this thing could be making a move. I would keep an eye on this. It might be making a move. I put that out on Telegram, or yesterday, I think it was, and also Delic. Delic, another psychedelics company, pure play psychedelics, in a couple of different segments. So looks like they're making a nice little base. They're gonna have some really good news, I think. They got a lot of things in the pipeline. So I'd like to see what happens the next probably 2 weeks. We could see a breakout above this moving average of 30 cents. Buy signal, I believe. I think that would be a good buy signal if it breaks out of this 30-cent range. Oh, there we go. I had the thing covered up, so there we go. There it is. Let's see. So yeah, let me touch on TBP, and I'm gonna have to hop off. Okay. Yeah, so TBP is a bit of a pullback again. So we introduced the stock, here I think it was right March, 14 cents. Went to 50 cents and change. So it was basically a 4x essentially. Broke the moving average. So it's got to find a basis. It's close this gap. I think we're going to see this thing build a little bit of a base, and then it could make a nice pivot up. And again, this thing has got some phenomenal fundamentals. Again, it's a very high risk. But I think we could see this as a, look, what could this do? 250. I think it'd be a $2.50 stock, so it could be an easy 10-bagger. Again, very high risk. So yeah, okay. So let me just finish off. Yeah. So again, make sure you visit wallstreetreporter.com if you haven't been on our site. Get on our newsletter or email newsletter list. Just click the like and the subscribe button for the YouTube channel. We have a link down below for the Baby Unicorn live stream August 10th. Click to register for that. It's free. Also, our Discord and Telegram channel. The link is in the video description below. So with that said, thank you everybody for joining us. And I hope you have a very profitable summer, because I think the big bull market has just begun.